So I'm going to review module 5 very quickly, and then we're going to run through module 6. Okay. And I think that module 6 is so perfect for what all of you are sharing today, right? And first of all, let's go back to 5. And I just want to let all of you know, Paulette, this is really crucial, by the way, is this framework, even though it's confusing, I want to explain to all of you that this framework I've created several times depending on the situation that you're navigating. So saying no to a request, when you disagree with someone, situation where someone knows how to push your buttons. Let's look at that for a moment. If we look at this, Paulette, a situation where somebody knows how to push your buttons, you've got a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm opening the document, yes.
Yes, ma'am. So that's where we look at, now that you've had this situation, you guys have all had this experience, Jolene, you all have had this experience now based on your holiday. And I will tell you guys my wins and victories too. Don't worry, I'll tell you, but I don't want you to miss out on the coaching today. Okay. So you can go back now and you can write down the situation. Paulette, you've got a whole, this is wonderful. You're very wealthy in situations. Yay! When somebody knows how to push your buttons. So you write down, this is a situation. This is the person's behavior. And the reason why I have you guys doing this is because if you can review the situation, their behavior, your response at that moment, and then how you felt, this is going to tell you how to do this differently when it comes up again. And by the way, it's going to come up again. Okay, this is going to come up again. You may notice that there is a pattern here, right? And that's actually good. That's a good thing because we have a chance to be better people. And so I played this through with Tanya a little bit where we talked about, okay, the situation, and Tanya took a pause and she sat with it. And then we talked about what was she talked about her behavior in that situation, and then how she responded, how she felt afterwards. And then she talked about how she felt, and then she came back. All right. So I would invite Tanya now to write all this down and write down how she would do this differently next time and what she really wanted. Okay. Because we all do that, right? Jolene, you voiced, you had a situation around the table. You looked at the people's behavior, and I suspect that the behavior is pretty straightforward because that tends to be your family. And then you responded. Okay. And
oh, girl, it's getting worse before it gets better.
yeah, I know. And so you'd write down your response and then how it felt, what boundary was crossed. And now you can come back and say, this is how I would do it differently next time, right? There's no value in feeling afraid or guilty. You did everything right. I just want to tell you that right now, okay? Don't waste your tears. You're a great person.
Thank you.
Guys. So that's the review, and that's the meat of this module, module 5. What's wonderful about all of this is that I have taken a lot of the heavy lifting from you with this, because underneath I've given you dialogues that you can come back, and underneath that dialogue, you can write your own in your own language, which is so helpful. Because we have people here that speak Spanish, Puerto Rican, I don't know, where in the hell y'all speak.
Spanish and Puerto Rican.
You come back and write down in your own words how you would say the thing. By the way, fuck you is a complete sentence, just saying. But don't use that, because you may not get friends and they may not ever want to come back to your table. All right.
Later when you need a funny story, I have one about the fuck word and Thanksgiving.
I am sure you do. Okay. Now, let's open the door to module 6. Okay. So module 6 is really one of my favorite modules. and 6, 7, and 8 are leading into my zone of genius, which is communication. And those of you may or may not know, I've got several degrees in this area. I have several, but I have a bunch of paper in a lot of different areas. I think I'm rich in paper on my walls. Okay, so when we talk about communication, it's very important for you guys to really soak in this idea is progress, not perfection. Because none of us are going to be perfect, and that's actually good news. All right, so the goal is to be assertive and not aggressive. So there's passive, there's aggressive, and assertive. And what I really like is we got specific about what that means. Here's the thing, we do not use these boundary scripts or the approach of knowing who we are, what we want, and why we want it to manipulate people. It's not about going in and telling people your boundaries so you can make them or persuade them to do something you want them to do. We do not demand, we make a request, because I don't know if you guys are familiar, Mel Robbins' new book, Let Them. I have not read it. I have not done anything with it, but I've heard a lot about it, and I do have some issues with it. I'm not getting into it right now, but one thing she does say, which makes a lot of sense, is you cannot change people's behavior. So controlling them is a waste of your time and energy.
Totally.
That's why we say when you're setting a healthy limit, a healthy boundary, you're requesting, okay? I understand what you're sharing with me, but I'm the arbiter of what's best for me. Now, so many of us in this room, I'd say every damn one of you have people in your life that tell you what to do. No one has permission to tell you what to do. But you can request that they not share that with you. All right? So demands create defensiveness. So if you're demanding, a person will come back and they will be defensive. By the way, that's a good thing, because that's a signpost to you that now you need to back up and come in from a different energy, right? So if you're making a demand, person's going to come back and they're going to be defensive. You back up and now you come back with a request. I need to ask you, will you please stop? Okay. I need to tell you that when this continues, or if this continues, I will leave. And then you leave. Here's the thing, if you make a request, you have to follow through. If you give somebody two choices, if you do not do this, I'm going to do this or that. Okay, so they do the bad behavior, you better do either this or that. Okay, because that shows them that you will not tolerate bad behavior. Use I statements. I want, I need, I feel. Because when we say I statements, we are owning our behavior. We're saying, this is mine. When I say I want, I need, now you can't do anything about that because I'm owning my thing. But the minute I go, you did this, you do that. Now, when your partner does that with you, or a client does that with you, or your children do that with you, how do you feel? You did this, you did that, you don't like this, you don't want that, I know you, okay? So we get defensive. So that really teaches us that that doesn't work for us. Why do we think it's going to work for them? So we begin with I. So we're going to review the basic formula. So this is a formula you guys learn pretty much right away in this program. And the reason why I teach you that right away is because this is your superpower no matter where you are in setting your boundaries. I feel when that, or when this happens, and I'd like, whatever that is. Okay? So that's the basic formula. Or I want, whatever that is, because, and you're very short and brief, you do not get into a lot of detail, because the more words you use, the less likely you are to be taken seriously. Do you understand what I'm sharing with you? Are you willing to do this with me? Okay. So it's really helpful, guys, because this takes a lot of the heavy lifting away for you. And pretty much all of us can let a person know right away how we feel. And guess what? We're women, and that's our superpower. Our inability to say, I feel, is what really messes us up. If you can't say to somebody, I feel this, you're going to shove it down and it becomes like a cancer. It grows and now we're resentful and we're ugly and we're icky and it's no fun. But if you can say out loud, no matter what, I feel, your brain goes, hell yeah, you feel. Good on you, sister. Keep going. Questions, feedback, answers.
Feedback.
Jesse.
I actually had that happen. It almost shit on the weekend, to be honest, that I told you was my win, because I had took time from other things that I felt were priorities for me to serve my family. And then nobody ate the food and it's sitting there and it's drying out. And I said, I'm feeling resentful right now because I took time to, from my perspective, love all of you. And I feel like you're all telling me to fuck off because that's how it felt. Because I put priority on them and it's like, oh, well, so instead they were like, well, I'm just not hungry right now. And, or I had enough to eat at breakfast. I'm really good. And I was like, okay, that's different. And I got to, for the first time in years, and thank you, because this and other tools that, this is bringing a lot of other things that I've done to the surface. But I got to say something and not hold that shit and ruin my weekend.
Sound familiar, Jolene?
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
The only way to not have my weekend ruined now I've already decided there'll be no Christmas dinner at my house because they don't deserve it.
All right, so here's the thing. This needs to come from a place of love always. We lead with love and not with resentment or anger. Just a note to self.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. I warned you about my resent and anger.
I'd say let it go because it doesn't serve you well. Okay, so here's some things that we say, right? Thank you, Jesse. By the way, you guys, you made love pass through my eyes through the form of tears. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so here's some really quick and dirty tips. You say to the person, Jesse, good job. This is important to me, right? I want you guys to know this is important to me. I want you to know this is important to me. Okay. I would appreciate it if, Paulette, nice job. I think you've used the word. I've appreciated if, and that's respectful and loving. Way to go, sister. Check this out, Paulette. I have a request that means a lot to me. My request is that you do not interrupt me when I'm talking. Right? I am very concerned about this. This is a great intro when you're having a crucial conversation. And Dr. Tanya, that might be a good way to segue. Hey, I'm really concerned about this and I need your support. Can I share? Right? So the next component of effective speaking is to be super specific. And I think this is the hardest part for women is because we're storytellers by our very nature. Right? We're storytellers. This is what we do. But if we're very specific, requests are going to work best when you're specific with them. And the second thing is to be clear with what you're asking for. Here's an example. I'd like you to treat me with respect. Guess what? The minute a person starts making you feel bad and they do the you, and they're saying bad things about you to you, this is your segue to say, I'd like you to treat me with respect. And if you do not, I will leave. and you will leave right away. You do not, no one has a right to hurt you. No one, no one. You are not 12. When you were 12, you were a child, you didn't have a choice. Okay? You're not 12 anymore. No one has a right to do that. Please don't call or text me late at night. There's another good boundary, isn't it? You know, I have a client that's an osteopath. The minute he gets to work in the morning, his wife starts texting him with all the things he didn't do that morning. Do you know that was destroying his practice? Because it was going through his day with that energy. So the moment he was able to say, please don't call or text me between here and here because I'm working. Did it stop? No. Did he stop? Yes. Because just by doing this one behavior, this one action, his brain kicked in. His brain said, hell yeah. He kept sharing that. He didn't mess around. Guess what? His relationship has changed for the better. Okay. So here's some tips for being specific. Identify an observable action that you want someone to make. That's where we go back to module 5. Okay, what's an observable action that you want someone to make? I'm sorry for continuing to pick on your story, Tanya, but that was a really good example of saying, you know, this is a specific action that I need for you to take, was to come back and say, you know, I need for you to understand, right?
What page is that? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, so Tanya had a great story to share earlier with her son. And what I want to say is that if we are able to observe the action that we want someone to make, like she said, I would really like for you to, I'm sorry, you know.
I think she was asking what page that was that you were
Yeah.
holding up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not about the story that I told.
Yes. No, but
The
it was
page
nice
is in
to hear
module
that
5.
again. Yeah.
Oh,
But it was nice to hear it again
I'm
because
sorry.
I had the same situation last year.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so
oh,
it's lesson 2 from module 6.
okay. I went back to module 5. I understand that. I understood that. I'm sorry. Okay.
No,
Thank you.
I'm jumping around, right?
Okay, thank you.
I'm not be sorry for anything.
Yeah.
Never be sorry for asking a question, ever. Okay. Quantify how often, how much, or how long you want the behavior or action to last. Okay. Be specific with the times and dates. And the most valuable of all is to give an example of what you're requesting. So what's great about module 6, if you haven't had a chance to do it yet, is you have an opportunity to write these out in your own words using this formula. Okay? So the formula is tips for being specific. And then I have the bullet points, and then you get to write out. And this is really, really helpful, especially if you have a really sticky situation or someone that has a very bad behavior. Okay, are there any questions about module 6?
Yes,
Jessie?
please. So you just listed, and I was writing as fast as I could here. You said quantify what?
So you want to be specific with times, and the most valuable of all, give an example of what you're requesting. Quantify how often and how much or how long you want the behavior action to last.
How long or how much? Okay.
Yeah.
I got dates and times, and then give example of requested.
So first you want to observe the action that you want someone to make, right? I would really like for you to talk to me kindly.
Yes, I have.
And how often I want that to happen is I'd really love for you to have this conversation with me every day, because I want my relationship with you to be positive and happy. I love you, and I need for you to, you know, let me know that. And how I want to hear this is for you to say, hey, I love you. I appreciate you. Can you do that for me? Yes or no? So this is how I converse with Ken Bender, because he is a difficult, very complex, very brilliant man, which is probably why I married him 45 years ago. And so this is where I say, hey, this is how often, this is how much. But when I ask him to behave a certain way, now I get to be that person, because what I teach in my Accelerate Your Intimacy coaching program is that we have to be an example of what we want in our partner. So if you want your partner to be kind, you show up as kind. If you want your partner to, be respectful, you show up as respectful. All right. So Dr. Tanya's getting ready for patients. Yay, Dr. Tanya. Okay, guys, hang on for a minute. I'm gonna grab one thing. And actually, you know what? Since Tanya's here and she's getting ready to go, Tanya, I would love for you today to do a little wrap up for us. Two things, if it's okay with you. Do you have 1 minute to sing us a song? And then at the end of Tanya's song, would you guys like to send a little blessing to each other? And we'll all unmute and send a blessing. Would you sing a song for us, Tanya?
Sure. Worried blues, worried blues, you don't know my mind. Worried blues, worried blues, you don't know my mind. 'Cause when you see me laughing, I'm laughing to keep from crying.
Yay! Miss the Saturday dance.
Oh boy, you're dating yourself now.
Couldn't do it without you. Don't get around much anymore. Okay, everybody, unmute. All right, so let's send love, sending love to everybody. Jennifer, I'm so proud of you. You rock.
Proud
Paula,
of everybody. Great call, everyone.
woohoo!
Yes.
Good.
Nice,
Courage, strength.
nice job. Good job, everybody.
Thank you, guys. I might be able to get through the rest of the week. Thanks to you.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys, check the replay in our group. Give me feedback, weigh in, all the things. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys rock. Next week is module 7. Okay, so be prepared.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Now, how do I stop my video?
Bye.
Oh.
I thought it closed.